The lesson.
Oh, yeah.
In 2007 is when you actually released the release with That's Them.
Yeah. So 2007 so what happened was around 2003 I was rapping with Sam, and we did a few tracks. We didn't do much. We did a few tracks but never did anything with it, kind of thing. But then he ended up going to another job, so he moved sort of to a different job, but I was still in contact. But then I started rapping with this other lad. It was he was a Samoan guy named Sefa. So he was working at Gloria Jeans. And then, so around 2006, I don't know if you sussed this out, but in 2006, they had a thing called the Urban Star Competition. I don't know if you ever remember that. Do you remember that? It was from Frisk Management. It was 2006, it was the Urban Star Competition. It was at the, what's that, the hotel at Liverpool? The Collingwood Hotel. So it was like a competition, and you know who was in it? I don't know if you heard of Mahogany. You know Mahogany? Like, they're like an R&B group. They were on, they've been around for ages. They're like Islander chicks and that, and I remember we literally was in this competition. So I was doing all the beats. My mate Sefa was rapping, and sometimes my other mate Sebs was rapping, but we progressed through this competition, bro. Like, I'm telling you, it was so many people in Sydney. Like, it was massive. Like, it went for weeks, and we literally got all the way to the end, and it was us and Mahogany. And because they looked like Beyonce, you know what I mean? They officially won. They were more marketable. They even said, they're probably going to win because they're more marketable, And so I had a feeling. I thought, man, they'll pick them for sure over us. But then what happened was they won, but then because they had dramas with their manager, I think their dad managed them. Something didn't work out, and then so they had to forfeit the win, and they gave it to us. So we won. So then part of the winnings, they sort of talked it up. Part of the winnings was you get to go to this studio, record your single. And I remember we were G'd, you know what I mean? We were starting to think, fuck, we're going to actually get somewhere with this shit, you know what I mean? And I remember I told Sam, I was like, bro, if I get in the door, you're coming and this and that. And he was like, oh, no, I don't know if that's a door I want to go down, you know what I mean? Because it was more like an urban R&B scene, you know what I mean? Where, Sam and That's Them and that is more underground Aussie shit. So anyway, so we went to this studio, we recorded the single, and I remember when I brought the guy that I normally get to do the R&B hooks and that. He's done a few of Curse's singing hooks. This guy, Rat, but his name's Anthony McCarthy. He come with me, and it was Sefa. We went to this studio, and I was the studio was mad, you know what I mean? But even when they played the beat, we were like, fuck, he's going, bro, your beats are heaps better. What are we doing? We're kind of going backwards, you know what I mean? But we didn't want to be bad sports about the whole thing, so we recorded it, and nothing ever really happened of it. I knew that because I could tell by the production, and it wasn't the best, you know what I mean? And I felt, man, my beat's shit on this. Why don't we use my beat? But they didn't want to do it like that, you know what I mean? So then, so we ended up opening for the UMAs. So it was the Urban Music Awards. It was in Olympic Park. So that was 2006. So we opened there, and there was Decepticons and Scribe, and there was all these big artists from that time, you know what I mean? And so we were sort of in there, mingling in there, you know what I mean? Bro, it was funny, man. But then that sort of fizzled away because I was more into, I felt like we clashed a little bit because I was more into sort of like underground stuff, like, and our ideas were clashing, and it just didn't work out. So anyway, so after that, then I kind of got back in touch with Sam, and then he was like, oh, I remember he just hit me up one day and goes, let's do some shit. And I was like, yeah, all right, sweet, let's do some shit. I'm ready to go whenever, you know, because I always make beats every day, like the whole time, just every day. Like there's not one day, unless it's like I've got to do stuff with the family, but normally I try and look at it like at least one beat a day, you know, just one every day, you know, because otherwise I feel like I'm being lazy. Like I don't know, I think I would what you would call a beat addict, you know what I mean? I'm a full beat addict to the max. Like I feel like if I'm chilling out watching TV, I'm thinking to myself, fuck, I should be in there like making beats, bro, you know what I mean? It's like, it's an addiction, eh? Like, it really is. So yeah, 2007, Sam hits me up and he's like, what about That's Them? And I go, yeah, that's a mad name. That's mad. That's them, you know what I mean? And I go, yeah, that's a good name. And then so we pumped out that EP. I think it was like so quick, bro. It was like 3 months. Boom. We just did the EP. And then I kind of did the music side of things. But around that time, I got to admit, I was confident with beats, but I wasn't confident with recording vocals. Even though I had a mic and all that sort of setup, I could record them, but I wasn't confident with mixing vocals. I could do the beats, but not so much the mixing vocals. So I remember with that EP, we sent the vocals to my mate Alex Sharmy, the guy, but he had moved to Melbourne, so he mixed the vocals, and then we got it mastered and that, and then we were trying to shop around for distro. So then we ended up getting distro from Obese, and to me, bro, that was one of the moments where I felt like I'd made it, bro, you know what I mean? Like, because Obese was big, you know what I mean? They were massive at the time. They were like the biggest Aussie label, hip-hop label, Obese, you know what I mean? So when we got the distro, I was like, bro, this is it. We're out of here, you know what I mean? Like, and then, you know, it was in all the shops, JB Hi-Fi, walk into JB Hi-Fi, you know, flip through the Aussie hip-hop section, there we are, you know what I mean? Like, it was, bro, we went to Queensland, JB Hi-Fi, it's in there, it's everywhere, bro, you know what I mean? We went into the hip-hop shops, Butter Beats in Queensland, bro, went in there, it's in there, I'm like, fuck, it's everywhere, you know what I mean? And then I thought, we're killing it now, like, and this was kind of the MySpace era, you know, like MySpace, like sort of just pre-Facebook, and then it was starting to kick off, like, and then we did a few shows, went to like Tasmania, and we went to Melbourne. We didn't go to Adelaide. I wish we kind of did, like, but we kind of just did the West Coast, you know what I mean? Like, East Coast, sorry. What coast is it? Fucking, I don't know, bro. Never, the East Coast, you know what I mean? East Coast of Australia. Yeah, so we just kind of went from Queensland, Sydney, Melbourne, Tasmania, you know what I mean? And every show packed. And they're just singing word for word, bro, like our shit, you know? And man, I'm telling you, like, it's a amazing feeling, bro, you know what I mean? When you work on something and then you think, oh yeah, I'll just put it out there, and then you do a show and then people are singing word for word, you know what I mean? Like, and I remember when we were in Queensland, like, man, these chicks are like telling me, like, come on, like, we'll go back to the motel, you know what I mean? They full want to, like, and Sam's there like, no, bro, like, you're married, this and that, like, bro, it was full on, bro. I'm telling you, like, they loved it. And then, but then, with the second album, like the Stay Up album, that was like 2009. That was more of a struggle to get distro, eh? Like, so we had a big buzz going, and then it was like we need to get another album going, like ASAP. But then in that time frame, so 2007, 8, I did a few, we did a mixtape and that, like Look Up in the Sky mixtape. So that was with Scott Burns, Binge Thinkers, DJ Mathematics, DJ Tubuck, me and Sam. We kind of did a collab mixtape, and it was just a freebie. We just handed it out everywhere. And then I had a few beats on a few different projects, you know what I mean, at the time. And then around that time too, I was getting my music on TV, like Fat Pizza and Swift and Shift Couriers and that. Like, so I was getting checks coming in. That was the first time I was actually getting checks for my music. So it gives you confidence when you think, fuck, they're paying me for this, you know what I mean? Like, and then, yeah, it just gives you confidence, you know? And then, but it was a little bit of a setback when we did Stay Up, because we couldn't get distro, you know? That was the problem. So we couldn't get the Obese distro, because around that time, I think Pegs was starting to downsize Obese a little bit. And it was kind of, people weren't buying CDs, you know, because it was going 2009 into 2010. The CDs weren't selling. And JB Hi-Fi it's still selling, but it was dying off a bit, you know what I mean? So it was a lot harder to get distro. And then, so we decided to do it all ourselves. Like, and I give credit to Sam, because he put in all the effort to literally, we signed the CDs and he would just send them out like by hand, you know. It's like in packages, and just, you know, it would have been dramas. Like, it wasn't in the shop anymore. We had to like put it out ourselves, kind of thing. And we still did a lot of shows and that, still big attendance. But yeah, it's sort of a bit of a setback a little bit, you know. And then, but you know, we still did heaps of shows. We probably did more shows in that time. We were doing shows nearly every week, like, and yeah, it was good. But the only problem was the distro. It fucked us up, you know, because there was no streaming. These days, you don't need distro. Like, I nearly look at these days now, unless you've got someone who, like a loyal fan base that will actually buy the CDs, it's nearly not even worth pressing them. You better just go streaming, like, you know what I mean? Like, unless you got someone that's willing to, there's still a lot of people that want the CD. Like, I have people ask me all the time, oh, have you still got the G Up, or have you got Stay Up, or have you got the EP, you know what I mean? Or have you got Taking Care of Business? And I'm like, bro, we're out. Like, we're run out unless we re-press it, you know what I mean?
The last 27. Oh, yeah.